Admiral Sarah Chun stood at the wide window of her flagship, looking out at the alien ships floating in space around the planet below. The ships were huge and dark, shaped like twisted metal spears. They belonged to the Hegemony, a group of 7 different alien races that had ruled this part of the galaxy for thousands of years. Chian's ship, the Indomitable, was smaller but sleek and white. It carried the blue and gold flag of the Terran Colonial Federation. Around her ship floated 20 other human vessels, all there for the same reason. They had come to talk about mining rights on the planet Kepler 442b, a world rich in rare metals that humanity needed. The meeting was supposed to be simple. Humans would ask permission to mine on some empty planets. The aliens would say yes or no. Everyone would go home. But Jean felt something was wrong. She had been a military officer for 30 years, and her gut told her to be careful. Captain Marcus Rivera walked up behind her. He was her intelligence officer, a thin man with sharp eyes who noticed everything. He carried a datapad in his hands, and his face looked worried. "Admiral, we need to talk," Rivera said quietly. "In private." June turned away from the window. "What is it, Marcus? Not here. Too many ears." Rivera looked around at the other officers on the bridge. "Your quarters now." 10 minutes later, Chun sat across from Rivera in her small office. The walls were covered with pictures of Earth and the 47 human colonies spread across space. Rivera placed his datapad on the desk between them. "I found something bad." Rivera said. "Really bad?" Chun leaned forward. "Show me." Rivera touched the datapad. Numbers and messages appeared on the screen. "I've been tracking communication signals for weeks, looking for anything strange. Yesterday I found these." The screen showed coded messages. Even scrambled, Chun could see they were going from human space to hegemony space. Lots of them. "Someone is talking to the aliens," Rivera explained. "Sending them information. Secret information." Chun's heart began to beat faster. What kind of information? Rivera touched the screen again. New files appeared. Fleet positions, defense plans, colony locations, everything, Admiral. "Someone is telling the Hegemony all our secrets." Chun stood up fast, her chair rolling backward. "Who?" "3 people, Rivera said. His voice was grim. "Governor Elizabeth Knox from the Proxima sector, Governor William Harrison from the Centauri colonies, and Governor Alex Petrov from the Outer Rim worlds." Chun felt cold. Those 3 governors controlled 15 human colonies between them. Millions of people lived under their protection. "Are you sure?" "I'm sure," Rivera said. "The communication codes trace back to their personal ships. They've been doing this for over 2 years. 2 years. Chun sat back down, her mind racing. For 2 years, the Hegemony had been learning everything about human space. They knew where every ship was, where every colony stood, how strong every defense was. "There's more," Rivera continued. He touched the screen again. "Look at this." New messages appeared. These were different. They showed alien ship movements. Hundreds of Hegemony vessels moving toward human space. All at the same time. "When?" Chun asked. "Now," Rivera said. "The attack begins in 6 hours." Chun looked at the star map on her wall. 23 human colonies were marked with red dots. All of them were far from Earth. All of them were places where families lived, where children played, where people had built new homes among the stars. "They're going to hit all of them at once," Chun said. "It wasn't a question. Double quotes. Yes. And they know exactly where to strike. The traitors gave them everything." Chun walked to her communication panel. She had to warn the colonies. She had to tell Earth. The panel was dead. "No signals going in or out. They're jamming us," Rivera said. "Started 5 minutes ago." Chun looked out her small window. The alien ships were moving, getting into new positions, surrounding the human fleet. A voice came over the ship's speakers. It was deep and strange, speaking human words with an alien accent. "Admiral Chun of the humans, you will come to the surface. Immediately. You will meet with the Hegemony Council. You will discuss the surrender of your species." Chun picked up the microphone. "This is Admiral Chun. I don't surrender. Ever. You have no choice, the alien voice replied. We know everything about your military. We know every ship, every weapon, every plan your own people told us. Resistance is impossible. Other voices came through the speakers now, human voices. June recognized them. Knox, Harrison, and Petrov, the three traitor governors. Sarah, please listen, Knox's voice said. She sounded tired and sad. It's over. The hegemony is too strong. If we surrender now, they'll let us keep Earth and the inner colonies. If we fight, they'll destroy everything. Harrison's voice came next. They offered us a deal, Chun, a good deal. Humans can live in peace if we stay in our own small corner of space. Think about your people, Petrov added. Think about the families. Don't let them die for nothing. Jun looked at Rivera. His face was angry. She felt the same anger burning inside her. Admiral, Rivera said quietly, what are your orders? Chun thought about her daughter on Earth. She thought about the colony children she had met on her visits to the outer worlds. She thought about all the humans who had worked so hard to build new lives among the stars. The hegemony thought they were smart. They thought they knew everything about humans because 3 cowards had sold them information. They thought humans would give up when faced with impossible odds. They were wrong. Chun picked up the microphone again. She made sure it was broadcasting on all frequencies so every human ship could hear. This is Admiral Sarah Chun of the Terran Colonial Federation, she said clearly. To all human vessels, all human colonies, all human citizens listening to this message, the aliens think they know us. They think we'll run when they show us their big ships. They think we'll surrender because they have more guns. She paused, looking out at the dark alien vessels. They're about to learn something about humanity. We don't kneel, we don't run. And we sure as hell don't give up our children's future because someone tells us to. The alien voice came back, angry now. Admiral Chun, you will comply or Chun cut the communication, she turned to Rivera. Marcus, send a coded message to all human forces. Use the old phishing codes from Earth, the ones grandfather taught us. In the academy, Rivera smiled for the first time that day. What's the message? Chun walked back to the window. More alien ships were appearing, coming out of hyperspace. Hundreds of them. Maybe thousands. The largest fleet she had ever seen, but they had made one mistake. They thought they were hunting sheep. They didn't know they were poking a sleeping bear. Tell them, Chun said, watching the alien fleet gather. When they come for us, show them. Why Earth's children never learn to kneel. Outside, the first alien ships began moving toward human space. The attack was beginning, but so was humanity's response, and the aliens had no idea what they had just started. The attack came like thunder across human space on the mining colony of New Geneva. Governor Elizabeth Knox stood in her office watching the sky turn dark with alien ships. She had sold the locations of human defenses to the hegemony. She had given them every secret. She thought she was saving lives by helping them win quickly. Now she watched those same alien ships drop bombs on the homes of people who trusted her. Governor, we need to evacuate, her aide said, running into the office. The aliens are targeting the main settlement. Knox couldn't move. Outside her window, she saw families running toward the underground shelters, children crying. Parents carrying babies, all because of what she had done. Governor. The aide grabbed her arm. We have to go now. But Knox wasn't listening. She was watching something impossible. The mining platform above the colony was moving, turning, giant metal. Arms that normally dug for or were pointing up at the alien ships. And they were glowing. What is that? Knox whispered. The aide looked out the window. His eyes went wide. Those are weapons. The mining platform has weapons. The platform fired. Bright blue beams shot up into space, hitting the alien ships. The beams cut through the alien hulls like hot knives through butter. 3 alien ships exploded in balls of fire. Knox stared. How? That's a civilian mining station. More beams fired from other directions. The cargo docks were shooting at the aliens. The water treatment plant was launching missiles. Even the school building had guns coming out of its roof. Protocol Lazarus, the aide said, his voice full of wonder. I thought it was just a story. Knox had heard the name before. Old rumors. About hidden weapons. She had told the hegemony that human colonies were defenseless. She was wrong across the galaxy. The same scene played out on 23 worlds on Kepler Station. Cargo ships suddenly showed their true nature. Hidden armor plates slid open. Weapon ports appeared where there had been loading bays. The slow. Fat freighters became fast, deadly warships in minutes. The alien commander of the attack fleet, Admiral Vexka, watched his easy victory turn into a nightmare. His intelligence had told him the humans were peaceful traders, soft, weak, but the cargo ship that just destroyed his cruiser was neither soft nor weak. How is this possible? Vex guessed into his communicator. The humans have no military ships here. Sir, his intelligence officer replied, the cargo ships are military ships. They were disguised. On the agricultural world of New Harvest, Farmer Tom Bradley drove his tractor toward the alien landing zone, but this wasn't any normal tractor. When he pushed a hidden button, the farming machine grew armor plating and missile launchers. The plow in front became a ram designed to crush alien vehicles behind him. 50 other farmers drove their own tractors toward the enemy. The aliens had expected to find helpless farmers. Instead, they found an armored unit that had been practicing. For this day for years, the human plan was simple but brilliant. For decades, every human colony had been built with two purposes. On the surface, they were peaceful settlements for mining, farming, and trade. Underneath, they were military bases waiting for war. Every human colonist was a citizen soldier. Every building had weapon systems. Every piece of civilian equipment could become a weapon when needed. The hegemony had planned to attack defenseless colonies. Instead, they were attacking fortresses. In space above New Geneva, Captain Lisa Wong flew her medical transport into battle. The ship looked like it was meant to carry sick people and medicine. Really, it was a stealth fighter with enough firepower to destroy a battleship. The alien pilots didn't know what hit them. Their sensors showed a harmless medical ship. Then, that harmless ship fired plasma cannons that vaporized 2 alien fighters. This is impossible, the alien wing leader radioed. Medical ships don't have weapons. Human medical ships do, Wong replied, firing again. The hegemony had studied human military files for 2 years. They knew about human warships, human weapons, human tactics. But they had never learned about Protocol Lazarus. The humans had hidden their real strength behind civilian faces. Governor Knox stood in her office, watching her colony fight back against the aliens she had betrayed them to. Tears ran down her face as she saw human fighters launch from hidden bays in the mountainside. The aliens were retreating, confused and badly hurt. Her communicator buzzed. It was Governor Harrison from the Centauri colonies. Elizabeth, what's happening? Harrison's voice was panicked. The aliens said they would win easily, but my colony is fighting back. How are they fighting back? Knox looked out at the battle. A human fighter just shot down an alien bomber that was trying to attack the school. We were wrong, William. We were so wrong. About what? About everything? The humans weren't defenseless. They were never defenseless. We just couldn't see their real strength. On another channel, Governor Petrov was screaming into his radio. The deal is off. You said there would be no resistance. You said his transmission cut off. Knox didn't know if he was dead or just running above the planet. Admiral Chun's coded message was spreading through space. Human ships were using old Earth fishing codes to talk to each other. The aliens couldn't understand the messages. They only knew that human forces everywhere were coordinating their attacks. The human military had learned something important during their expansion across space. Big fleets were easy targets. Instead, they had built thousands of small, fast ships. When the aliens attacked, they didn't find a few large fleets to destroy. They found swarms of fighters that attacked from every direction. Captain Rivera, now commanding a small destroyer, led 12 other ships in an attack on an alien supply convoy. The alien ships were 10 times bigger than the human ships, but Size didn't matter when you couldn't hit your targets. The human ships moved like dancers, spinning and diving around the clumsy alien vessels. They hit fast and disappeared before the aliens could shoot back. It was like trying to swat flies with a hammer. "Human ships are too fast," the alien convoy commander reported. "We cannot track them." "Then use area weapons," Admiral Vexka ordered. "Destroy everything in the area." But when the aliens fired their big guns, the human ships were already gone. And the aliens had just wasted ammunition on empty space. Dr. James Wu sat in a hidden bunker on Earth, watching displays that showed every human colony in real time. Each display was connected by quantum communication devices that the aliens couldn't detect or jam. "All colonies report successful defense," Wu announced to the military commanders around him. "Operation Cleanse Wipe has failed." General Martinez, head of Human Space Forces, smiled grimly. The aliens thought they were fighting merchants and farmers. Instead, they're fighting 300 years of human military evolution. Wu nodded. Every human colony was designed as a fortress. Every colonist trained as a soldier. Every ship built for war, even if it looked like a cargo hauler. "What's our next move?" Martinez asked. Wu looked at the displays. The aliens were retreating from most human colonies, confused and badly beaten. "Now we show them what happens when you threaten human children." On New Geneva, the alien fleet was pulling back into orbit. Governor Knox watched them go, knowing she was responsible for bringing them here. But she was also watching something else. Human ships were launching from hidden bases all across the planet. Not just defensive fighters, but warships that had been buried underground for years. The humans weren't just defending anymore. They were preparing to attack. Knox's aide came back into the office. "Governor, Admiral Chun is on the emergency channel. She wants to talk to all human leaders." Knox hesitated. Chun knew about the betrayal by now. Knox expected anger, hatred. Maybe orders for her arrest. Instead, when Chun's face appeared on the screen, her expression was calm and cold. "Governor Knox," Chun said simply, "you helped them find us. Now you're going to help us find them." Knox understood. The war was just beginning. And the aliens had made one terrible mistake. They had shown humanity what they really were. Now humanity would show them the same. Admiral Chen stood on the bridge of her damaged ship, watching the quantum communication array come back online. For 3 days, human forces had been fighting alone, each colony defending itself without knowing what was happening anywhere else. Now, the network was active again, and what Ching saw made her smile for the first time since the war began. "Captain Rivera, report," she said into the communicator. Rivera's voice came back clear and strong. "Admiral, we've got them on the run. The aliens are retreating from 18 of the 23 targets. They took heavy losses everywhere. Casualties on our side? Much lighter than expected. Protocol Lazarus worked better than anyone hoped." The aliens had no idea what they were really attacking. Chun nodded. The quantum network showed her the real picture now. Every human ship, every colony, every hidden base was connected by invisible signals that traveled faster than light. The aliens still didn't know the network existed. It was humanity's greatest advantage. Perfect communication across impossible distances. "Dr. Wu, are you receiving this?" Chun asked. Wu's voice came from Earth, 30 light-years away. In normal space, his words would take 30 years to reach her. Through quantum communication, they arrived instantly. "I'm here, Admiral. I'm seeing the full tactical picture now. The aliens have no idea how we're coordinating our forces." "What?" "About the traitors." Wu's voice grew cold. "Governor Petrov is dead. His own security team shot him when he tried to help the aliens land on his world. Governor Harrison is in custody, arrested by his own people. Governor Knox... Docs. She's asking to help. Says she wants to make up for what she did." Chun thought about that. Knox had betrayed 23 human worlds. Millions of people had been attacked because of her. But she was also the only one of the 3 traitors who seemed to understand the size of her mistake. "We'll deal with that later. Right now, I want to know about our real capabilities. How strong are we really?" Dr. Wu's voice carried a note of pride. Admiral, we've been preparing for this day for 70 years. Ever since we met the first alien species, we knew this moment would come. Every human colony, every ship, every piece of equipment was built for war. Chun looked at her tactical display. It showed the true size of human forces for the first time. Not just the obvious warships, but the hidden ones. The disguised ones, the secret ones. Dear God, she whispered, we have over 10,000 combat vessels. 10,437, Wu corrected. Plus 15,000 support ships that can fight if needed. Every cargo hauler has weapons. Every mining ship has armor. Every passenger transport can carry Marines. The numbers were staggering. For decades, humanity had been building a secret navy while pretending to be peaceful traders. Every ship that left Earth looked civilian but carried military-grade equipment. Captain Rivera's voice came back over the communicator. Admiral, I'm seeing something interesting. The aliens are regrouping at the Vega system. Looks like they're planning something big. Chun studied her star chart. Vega was only 12 light-years from Earth. If the aliens were gathering there, they were planning to strike at humanity's heart. How many ships? She asked. At least 3,000. Maybe more coming. Wu's voice joined the conversation. Admiral, this might be our chance. If we can hurt them badly at Vega, the war could be over quickly, Chun understood. The aliens expected to fight a defensive war against scattered human colonies. They didn't expect humanity to bring the fight to them. Dr. Wu, activate protocol. Hammer, there was silence on the channel. Then Wu spoke, his voice serious. Admiral, are you sure? Once we activate Hammer, there's no hiding what we really are anymore. They already know we're not helpless traitors. Time to show them we're not just defenders either. Across human space, the order went out through quantum channels. Ships that had been hiding for decades came out of secret bases. Weapons platforms that looked like space stations revealed their true purpose. The human war machine showed its real face on the industrial world of New Pittsburgh. Massive factories stopped making civilian goods and started producing warships. But these weren't new factories. They had been designed from the beginning to switch between peace and war production in hours, not months. Factory manager Susan Davis watched as her automobile assembly line transformed into a fighter construction facility. We'll have 50 new fighters ready in 6 hours, she reported to the quantum network. Similar reports came from dozens of worlds. Humanity had learned from Earth's old wars that manufacturing capability was as important as weapons. Every human world could become a weapons factory when needed. Governor Knox stood in a military tribunal on New Geneva, facing judges who had seen the evidence of her betrayal. But instead of anger, she saw something else in their eyes: determination. Governor Knox, the lead judge said, you gave our enemies information that led to attacks on our people. The normal penalty for treason is death. Knox nodded. She expected that. However, the judge continued, these are not normal times. Admiral Chun has requested that you be given a chance to serve the human cause, to help undo the damage you caused. Knox looked up, surprised. What does she want me to do? You know the alien command codes. You know their leaders' names. You know how they think. Help us use that information against them. For the first time in days, Knox felt hope. I'll do anything to help fix this. Then help us plan the attack on Vega. In space above Earth, Admiral Chun transferred her flag to a new ship. The Retribution was twice the size of her old vessel and carried weapons that could destroy a moon. It had been built in secret shipyards on the far side of Earth's moon. Admiral, Captain Rivera said, joining her on the new bridge, the fleet is ready. 2,000 ships, all volunteers. Chun looked at the tactical display. Every dot of light represented a human ship and crew ready to fight for their species' survival. Some were military vessels that had been hidden for decades. Others were converted civilian ships whose crews had decided to join the attack. Are the alien defectors in position? She asked. Rivera nodded. The Calari and Zephyrion ships are ready. They don't like the hegemony any more than we do. That was humanity's newest advantage. When other alien species learned that the hegemony had been systematically destroying rising civilizations, some of them switched sides. They brought ships, technology, and information about hegemony weaknesses. The quantum communicator buzzed. Governor Knox's voice came through from New Geneva. Admiral Chun, I have the alien command codes. I can get you into their communication network. Good, what else? I know Admiral Vexka personally. He's the one commanding the Vega fleet. He's proud and overconfident. If you challenge him directly, he'll accept a single-ship duel instead of running away. Chun smiled. A single-ship duel would let humanity's best weapon show what it could do. The Retribution wasn't just a warship. It was a demonstration of human engineering pushed to its limits. Perfect. Send him a message. Tell him Admiral Chun wants to discuss surrender terms. Knox's voice carried confusion. Admiral, you're not really surrendering, are you? No, Governor. I'm going to teach him the difference between human mercy and human weakness. The fleet began moving toward Vega. 2,000 human ships, supported by alien allies who had learned to respect human determination. Behind them, all of human space was mobilizing for total war. The hegemony had wanted to destroy humanity to preserve their dominance. Instead, they had awakened something they couldn't control. A species that had spent centuries learning how to turn anything into a weapon. Now they would face the full weight of human anger and humans, as the galaxy was about to learn, did not forgive threats to their children. The human fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Vega system like a swarm of angry wasps. Admiral Chen stood on the bridge of the Retribution, watching 3,000 alien ships form defensive lines around the giant blue star. Admiral, Vexka is responding to your message, Captain Rivera reported. He wants to talk. Put him on screen. The main display showed an alien face that looked like a cross between a lizard and a bird. Vexka's eyes were cold yellow, and his mouth was full of sharp teeth. He wore the black uniform of a hegemony fleet commander. Admiral Chun of the humans, Vexka said in his hissing voice. You come to surrender at last. Good, your species has caused enough trouble. Chun smiled. Actually, Admiral, I came to make you an offer. Single combat, your flagship against mine. Winner takes the system. Vexka's eyes widened in surprise. Then he began to laugh, a sound like breaking glass. You challenge me? Your little ship against the mighty Devastator? This is not war, human. This is suicide. Are you afraid? Chun asked calmly. The laughter stopped. Vexka's face darkened with anger. I fear nothing from your pathetic species. Very well, single combat it is. When I destroy your ship, your fleet will surrender immediately. Agreed, Chun said. If you can. The channel closed. Rivera looked at Chun with worry. Admiral, the Devastator is 5 times our size. Their weapons could punch through a planet. Marcus, how long have you served with me? 15 years. In all that time, have I ever chosen a fight I couldn't win? Rivera thought about that. No, Admiral. But, then trust me now. Chun turned to her weapons officer. Lieutenant Park, activate the special systems, all of them. Lieutenant Parks. Fingers danced over her controls. Deep in the ship, systems that didn't appear on any official blueprint came online. The Retribution had been built as more than a warship. It was a testbed for every experimental weapon and defense system humanity had developed. Gravitic manipulators online, Park reported. Phase shifters ready, quantum torpedoes loaded, adaptive shielding active. Rivera stared at the readouts. Admiral, these systems, they're not supposed to exist. Officially they don't, Chun replied, but the hegemony is about to learn what human engineers can do when they're really trying. The 2 ships moved toward each other across empty space. The Devastator was a mountain of black metal, bristling with weapons. It looked like a flying fortress designed to destroy entire planets. Next to it, the Retribution looked like a toy, but appearances could be deceiving. Admiral Vexka stood on his command deck, surrounded by officers from all 7 hegemony species. This will be over quickly, he announced. The humans are brave but foolish. Their ship cannot possibly threaten us. Sir, his weapons officer reported, the human ship is moving strangely. It keeps shifting position slightly. Vexka looked at his displays. The human ship seemed to flicker like a bad hologram. Sensor malfunction. Fix it. Sensors are working perfectly, sir. The ship is actually moving like that. On the Retribution, Chin watched her phase shifters do their work. The ship was rapidly moving between normal space and a parallel dimension, making it nearly impossible to target accurately. Lieutenant Park, fire a warning shot, Chun ordered. Park fired a single quantum torpedo. The weapon vanished from normal space, traveled through dimensional folds, and reappeared inside the Devastator's shield perimeter. It hit the alien ship's armor and exploded with the force of a small star. The massive alien ship rocked from the impact. Damage reports flooded Vexka's command center. How did their torpedo get through our shields? He demanded. Unknown, sir. It appeared to teleport. Vexka's confidence began to crack. All weapons, target the human ship. Destroy it now. The Devastator fired everything it had. Plasma beams, particle cannons, fusion missiles, kinetic projectiles. Enough firepower to level a city struck the space where the Retribution had been, but the human ship wasn't there anymore. Above you, Chun said calmly over the communication channel. Vex-Ka looked up through his bridge windows. The human ship hung directly over his vessel, somehow having moved there without anyone seeing it travel. Impossible, he whispered. Chun's voice came through the speakers again. You wanted to see what human technology could do. This is just the beginning. The Retribution fired again. This time, the quantum torpedo split into 12 smaller projectiles that each hit a different part of the Devastator. The alien ship's shields collapsed completely. Sir, they're using weapons we don't understand, Vexka's science officer reported. Our computers can't track their technology. Then use manual targeting. Fire everything, but every shot missed. The human ship moved like it was dancing, flowing around the alien weapons like water around rocks. Sometimes it seemed to be in two places at once. Other times it vanished completely, only to reappear somewhere else. Captain Rivera stood beside Chun, watching the impossible battle. How are we doing this? Gravity manipulation lets us move in any direction instantly, Chun explained. Phase shifting lets us step partially out of normal space. And the quantum computers can predict where their shots will be before they fire. This technology, it's decades ahead of anything I've seen. Try centuries, Chun said. We've been preparing for this war since we first met aliens. Every human colony contributed research. Every human scientist worked on the project. This ship represents the combined genius of our entire species. The Devastator was burning now. Its massive hull showed dozens of holes where human weapons had punched through alien armor like it was paper. Vexka's bridge was filled with smoke and sparks. Admiral, his communications officer called out, we're receiving a transmission from the human fleet. Admiral Chin wants to speak with you. Chun's face appeared on the damaged display. Admiral Vexka, your ship is crippled. Your weapons are useless. Surrender now, and I'll spare your crew. Vexka looked around his ruined bridge. Half his officers were dead or wounded. His mighty flagship, the pride of the hegemony fleet, was falling apart around him. You said this was just the beginning, he said quietly. What else can your ships do? You don't want to find out, Chun replied. But if you insist on continuing this war, you will. Through his cracked windows, Vexka could see the human fleet. 2,000 ships that had seemed small and harmless when the battle began. Now they looked like harbingers of doom. The Hegemony Council will never surrender, he said. Then they'll be destroyed, Chun answered simply. Along with everyone who follows their orders. Vexka understood now. The humans weren't just defending themselves. They were demonstrating their power, showing the galaxy what happened to anyone who threatened human children. My ship is yours, he said finally. No, Chun replied. Your ship is a wreck. But your crew can live. Order your fleet to withdraw. From human space, all of it, forever. And if I refuse? Chun's expression didn't change. Then tomorrow, human ships will appear over every hegemony world. And you'll discover that this battle was us being gentle. The alien admiral looked at his tactical display. His fleet of 3,000 ships faced 2,000 human vessels. Yesterday, he would have called those good odds. Today, he understood that numbers meant nothing when your enemy could bend reality itself. All hegemony ships, he broadcast. To his fleet, withdraw immediately. Full retreat to the home system, Chun nodded. A wise choice, Admiral. But understand this, the war isn't over, it's just beginning. And now we know where to find you. As the alien fleet limped away from Vega, Chun turned to Rivera. Marcus, send a message to all human forces. Phase 2 begins now. What's Phase 2? Chun looked at the retreating aliens and smiled grimly. We're going to teach the galaxy a lesson about threatening humanity. Time to visit the hegemony homeworlds. The demonstration was over. Now came the reckoning. The hegemony home system of Zentara had never been attacked in 3,000 years. 7 different alien species had built their capital worlds around the massive red giant star, creating the most defended system in the galaxy. Until today, Admiral. Chun stood on the bridge of the Retribution, looking at the impossible sight before her. 12,000 human ships filled space around Zentara, more than the hegemony had ever seen in one place. But that wasn't the most frightening part. The most frightening part was how quietly they had arrived. Admiral, Captain Rivera reported. All human fleets are in position. The Hegemony Council is requesting immediate communication. Chun nodded. Put them through. The main screen showed 7 alien faces, each representing one of the hegemony species. They looked scared. The tall, thin ethereals with their large black eyes. The massive, rocky builders with their stone-like skin. The floating thought speakers with their jellyfish bodies. All of them staring at Chen with something they had never felt before. Fear. Human Admiral, the lead ethereal spoke with a voice. Like wind through leaves, how did you get past our defenses? Our sensors detected nothing until you were already here. Chun smiled coldly. The same way we've been hiding our real strength for 70 years. You never bothered to learn what humans are really capable of. What do you want? The builder representative rumbled, his voice like grinding stone. Justice, Chun replied simply. You ordered the destruction of human colonies. You used traitors to attack our children. You tried to wipe out our species because you were afraid of our growth. The thought speaker floated closer to its camera, its translucent body pulsing with nervous light. We offer terms, reparations, territory, anything. You desire. I desire, Chun said slowly, for you to understand what you've done. She gestured to Rivera, who activated a new display. It showed recordings from the human colonies during the hegemony attack. Children running to shelters, families huddling in fear, people dying because 3 human traitors had sold them out. You see these images? Chun continued. These are human children, human families, people who never threatened you, never attacked you, never even thought about you. But you decided they had to die because they were growing too fast for your comfort. The ethereal leader's large eyes blinked slowly. We were protecting the galactic order. Preventing chaos. No, Chun said firmly. You were protecting your power, and now you're going to pay the price. At that moment, Governor Knox's voice came over the communication channel from New Geneva. Admiral Chun, I have something to report. Go ahead, Governor. We found the prison ships, Knox said, her voice grim. The hegemony has been capturing members of other species for decades. Thousands of beings from races they claimed were extinct. They're alive, Admiral, being used as slaves. The Hegemony Council members looked at each other nervously. Their secret was out? Chun's expression grew even colder. So genocide wasn't enough? You had to add slavery to your crimes? Those beings. WRE volunteers, the builder lied badly. Really? Chun turned to another display. It showed alien prisoners being freed from hegemony slave ships by human rescue teams. These volunteers seemed very happy to be rescued. Dr. Wu's voice came through the quantum communicator from Earth. Admiral, we've identified 43 species the hegemony claimed were extinct. All of them still alive in hegemony prison worlds. They want to join our alliance. The thought speaker pulsed brighter. You cannot form an alliance against us. We are the legitimate government of this sector. You were, Shun corrected. Past tense, Captain Rivera looked up from his console. Admiral, incoming transmission from the human fleet. All ships report. Ready for final phase. Shun nodded. She looked back at the Hegemony Council. You have one chance to avoid total destruction. Complete surrender, immediate release of all prisoners. Reparations to every species you've harmed, and the dismantling of your military. Impossible, the ethereal leader said. The hegemony is finished, Chun interrupted. The only question is whether you end this with dignity or with annihilation. The builder leaned forward. You cannot destroy us all? Even with your advanced technology, we have millions of ships across hundreds of worlds. Chun smiled grimly. Dr. Wu, show them what we brought. The display changed again. This time it showed the human fleet's true composition. Not just warships, but massive construction vessels, factory ships, mobile shipyards. An entire industrial civilization that could build new fleets faster than the hegemony could destroy them. Every human ship can manufacture more ships, Wu explained from Earth. Every human colony is a weapons factory. Every human citizen is a soldier. You're not fighting an army. You're fighting an entire species designed for war. The Hegemony Council stared at the display in horror. They finally understood what humanity really was. Not peaceful traders who had stumbled into space technology. A species that had spent centuries turning everything they touched into a weapon. But why? The thought speaker asked, its voice barely a whisper. Why build such a civilization? Chun's expression softened slightly. Because we learned something from our history. Peace is only possible when evil people are too afraid to disturb it. You proved that when you attacked our children. At that moment, alarms began sounding throughout the hegemony system. Human ships were moving toward the prison worlds, toward the slave camps, toward every place where innocent beings were held captive. Stop them! The builder commanded his forces, but the hegemony ships that tried to intercept the humans found themselves outmatched completely. Human technology was decades ahead of anything the aliens possessed. Human tactics were unpredictable and devastating. Most importantly, human determination was absolute. Within hours, every hegemony prison world was liberated. Thousands of alien beings who had been slaves for generations saw freedom for the first time. They looked up at the human ships with gratitude and wonder. Governor Knox, now commanding a rescue fleet, stood on the bridge of her ship watching Kaleri prisoners walk free from their cages. These were beings whose entire species had supposedly been extinct for 200 years. How many more are there? She asked her aide. Intelligence says at least 50 different species, spread across the entire hegemony territory. All of them listed as extinct in the official records. Knox felt sick. She had helped these monsters. She had believed their lies about protecting the galaxy. Signal Admiral Chun. Tell her we're bringing the freed prisoners to safety. Yes, Governor? And Governor? They're asking to fight alongside us. The freed prisoners want revenge. Back in the Zentara system, Admiral Chun received reports from across hegemony space. Every secret was being exposed. Every crime was being documented. Every lie was being revealed. The Hegemony Council watched their empire crumble in real time. Surrender, Chun said again. Now. The ethereal leader looked at his fellow council members. They were beaten and they knew it. Their military was scattered. Their secrets were exposed. Their victims were free and angry. We surrender, he said quietly. All of you? One by one, the 7 species leaders nodded their agreement. Chun stood straighter. Good, here are your terms. The hegemony is dissolved immediately. All military forces will be disbanded. All territories will be returned to their original inhabitants or become independent. War crimes trials will begin immediately. And if we agree to these terms? The builder asked. You live, Chun said simply. Under human protection in human-supervised colonies where you can't hurt anyone ever again? The thought speaker pulsed. Weakly, you would spare us, after everything? Chun looked at the alien leaders who had ordered the deaths of human children. We're not like you. We don't commit genocide. But we also don't forget, and we don't forgive threats to our children. 3 months later, Admiral Chun stood in the council chambers of New Terra, humanity's new capital world in the former hegemony territory. Representatives from 93 different species filled the Great Hall. Species that had been enslaved, threatened, or marked for extinction by the hegemony. Dr. Wu approached her with a report. Admiral, the galaxy is stabilizing. The new Galactic Council is working well. Trade is resuming. Most importantly, no one is attacking anyone else. Chun nodded, looking out at the diverse gathering of alien species working together peacefully. And the former hegemony leaders? Living quietly on supervised worlds. No weapons, no military, no power over anyone but themselves. Several of them have actually thanked us for stopping them. And Governor Knox? Leading the war crimes investigation. She's determined to document every hegemony atrocity to make sure it never happens again. Chun smiled. Knox had found her redemption in helping the victims of the regime she had once served. What about Earth's defenses? Chun asked. Wu grinned. Every human world is stronger than ever. Every human ship is ready for anything. And every species in the galaxy knows exactly what happens to anyone who threatens human children. Chun looked out at the peaceful council session and remembered the fear in the hegemony leaders' eyes. They had called humanity's expansion treason. Against the natural order. They had tried to enforce their version of galactic law through violence and terror. Now, as human ships patrolled systems once thought untouchable, the galaxy understood whose order truly mattered. Not the order imposed,